Your person once moved through this connection as though you were not the love of their life, behaving in ways that underestimated the depth of what you offered. At the time, they did not fully grasp the magnitude of your presence or the rarity of your love. That approach eventually caught up with them, because while they hesitated, distracted themselves, or took your energy for granted, you chose something different. You turned inward. You shifted your focus toward your own growth, your own healing, and the greater purpose calling your soul. In doing so, you stepped fully into your empress energy, self-assured, grounded, and unshakable. You no longer chased what refused to meet you halfway. Instead, you stood in your power, knowing your worth without needing to prove it. This transformation did not go unnoticed. Your strength, silence, and self-respect forced your person into reflection. They realized that to meet you again, truly meet you, they could no longer approach you with confusion or fear. They had to grow up emotionally, make solid decisions, and come toward you with gentleness and intention. Your power demanded it, not through force, but through example. You showed them that love does not beg, chase, or diminish itself to be chosen. Love stands firm and allows others to rise or fall to its level. At the core of their realization is a truth they can no longer deny: there is no love greater than yours. They feel it in the way your energy lingers, in the way your absence speaks louder than your presence ever had to. That is why they are holding on to this connection so tightly. Even if circumstances are complicated, even if fear still whispers in the background, they are not letting this go. They love you deeply, perhaps more deeply than they ever allowed themselves to love anyone before. This connection feels sacred to them, irreplaceable, and they know that walking away would mean losing something they may never find again. You are too real for them, and that is both what frightened them and what drew them in. For a long time, they were living a surface-level life, moving quickly, avoiding emotional depth, wearing masks that protected them from vulnerability. When they encountered you, your authenticity disrupted that illusion. You saw them clearly, not just the parts they wanted to show, but the parts they tried to hide. That terrified them. They worried about what would happen if you truly knew them, if you saw their insecurities, their fears, and their emotional wounds. They feared rejection, not realizing that your love was not conditional in the way they had learned to expect. What they forgot, or perhaps never fully understood at first, is that you see right through them because your intuition is sharp and your heart is open. You were never in love with the mask. You loved the truth beneath it. You loved their sensitivity, their softness, their emotional depth, even when they struggled to accept those qualities in themselves. Where they saw weakness, you saw humanity. Where they felt shame, you offered compassion. You created a space where they could exist without armor, and that is something they had never experienced before. You introduced them to what safe love feels like. Not chaotic love. Not conditional love. Not love that requires performance or perfection. But love that is steady, reassuring, and emotionally nourishing. With you, they learned what it means to be held without being controlled, to be understood without being judged. That safety changed them. Even if they resisted it at first, even if they pulled away out of fear, it rewired their understanding of intimacy at a soul level. They are deeply enamored by your inner beauty and empathetic nature. Your kindness is not performative, it is woven into who you are. Your ability to feel deeply, to understand others, and to love without losing yourself leaves a lasting imprint on them. Your energy feels like a full-course meal, rich, fulfilling, and complete. It is not empty affection or fleeting passion, it nourishes them emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. With you, love feels real. It feels grounding. It feels like home. Because of this, your person does not just want parts of you, they want all of you. Your mind, your heart, your presence, your truth, your strength, and even your boundaries. They want the version of you that stands in her power just as much as the version that loves tenderly. They want to rise to meet you, to become someone worthy of the love you so naturally give. Whether spoken aloud or held silently in their heart, this truth remains: you changed them, and they know that loving you is not just a feeling, it is a responsibility they are finally learning to honor. You are the only one who truly lives in my mind and in my heart, occupying a space that no one else ever has or ever could. I often wonder if you truly understand the profound effect you have on me, because your presence alone has changed me in ways I never thought possible. Even during moments of stress, uncertainty, or emotional weight, I find myself calmer than I ever used to be. There is a quiet steadiness within me now, a sense of peace that settles in simply because you exist in my life. Where I once would have been overwhelmed or consumed by worry, I now find myself breathing easier, grounding myself, and believing that things will somehow be okay. I notice that I search for the lighter side of situations, even in moments that would have once felt unbearable. This shift is so unlike the person I used to be, the pessimist who always expected disappointment, who braced for the worst as a way to protect myself. Loving you has softened those sharp edges of who I once was, replacing fear with hope and doubt with trust. You are, and always will be, the only one in my heart. That truth feels unshakable, deeply rooted, and timeless. I want you to know that what we share is not something fleeting or fragile. Our love is eternal in its essence. Circumstances may change, seasons may pass, and life may shape us in new ways, but the core of what we have, the connection, the understanding, the devotion, will remain untouched. Love evolves, but true love never loses its meaning. It simply grows deeper, wiser, and more enduring with time. Before you, I felt like a lost child wandering without a sense of belonging, unsure of where home truly was. I carried that feeling quietly, never fully acknowledging how alone I felt inside. But the love you have given me changed that. It wrapped around me gently yet firmly, giving me a place to stand, a place to rest, and a reason to keep going even when life feels heavy. The kind of love you give me is what keeps me holding on during difficult moments. It reminds me that I am not alone, that I am seen, valued, and cherished. All I ever need is you, not in the sense of dependence, but in the sense that your presence completes something essential within me. Thank you for being there for me in ways both big and small, for showing up consistently, and for loving me with a sincerity that feels rare and priceless. You have proven to me that love doesn't cost a thing, because I truly cannot imagine what I could have done to deserve something this pure and unconditional. Your love has taught me that it is not earned through perfection or obligation, but given freely, generously, and without expectation. Thank you for sharing a part of your heart with me, for trusting me with something so personal and profound. I never take that lightly. Spending time with you is, without question, the greatest joy I have ever known. Every moment we share feels meaningful, whether we are laughing, talking, sitting in silence, or simply existing together. There is a comfort in your presence that makes time feel both endless and fleeting all at once. Being with you is the most enjoyable experience of my life because it feels authentic, effortless, and deeply fulfilling. You make ordinary moments feel extraordinary simply by being yourself. And yet, when we are apart, the absence of you is something I feel deeply. Every second stretches longer than it should, filled with a quiet ache and a longing to see you again. Time becomes something I endure rather than enjoy, counting the moments until I can be with you once more. That longing is not painful in a negative way, but rather a testament to how much you mean to me. It reminds me that love like this is powerful, transformative, and worth every moment of waiting. Through it all, my heart remains certain of one thing: you are my home, my calm, and my forever. You are moving with intention and care when it comes to allowing them back into your life, and this is something your partner is fully aware of, even if they do not openly admit it. They notice the shift in you, the pause before responding, the discernment in your choices, the way you no longer rush to accommodate their needs at the expense of your own. Setting healthy boundaries has become natural to you now, and while these boundaries protect your peace, they deeply unsettle your partner. They dislike the limits you place because those limits restrict their ability to act impulsively or in ways that once fed their ego. Where they once relied on control, influence, or emotional leverage, they now encounter firmness and self-respect. Through watching your behavior, they understand that manipulation will no longer be tolerated, and that realization forces them to confront the consequences of their past actions. Your energy has changed in a way that is impossible for them to ignore. It is no longer reactive or uncertain, but grounded, calm, and self-assured. This transformation is precisely why your partner desires a brand new beginning with you. Your presence feels magnetic to them now because it comes from a place of wholeness rather than need. They sense your emotional maturity, your emotional restraint, and your clarity. You are no longer seeking validation or reassurance from them, and paradoxically, that independence draws them in more strongly than ever. They are captivated by the way you carry yourself, by the balance you embody between softness and strength. They see you as deeply sensual, not just in a physical sense, but in the way you experience life with awareness and depth. Your nurturing nature still exists, but it is now selective and intentional rather than freely given. Your confidence is evident in the way you speak, the way you move, and the way you no longer over-explain or justify yourself. Others admire you openly, your confidence, your authenticity, your calm authority, and your partner notices this attention even when it is unspoken. Yet despite being admired by many, you are content in your own company. You enjoy your solitude, your routines, and the peace you have cultivated within yourself. This enjoyment of being alone signals that you are no longer waiting to be chosen, you have already chosen yourself. That self-sufficiency intensifies your partner's longing to come close to you again. They feel the distance you have created, not as punishment, but as protection, and it awakens a deep sense of desire mixed with regret. They recognize that access to you is no longer guaranteed, and that realization makes you infinitely more valuable in their eyes. Since the moment they met you, they have never wanted anyone else the way they want you. Even if others have come and gone in their life, none have left the same impression or stirred the same emotional depth. You are not simply someone from their past, you are a presence that lingers in their thoughts, emotions, and memories. To them, you are irreplaceable, not because you try to be, but because of who you naturally are. They know that what you offer cannot be replicated easily: your emotional intelligence, your warmth paired with discernment, your ability to love deeply without losing yourself. You are unforgettable to them because you represent both comfort and challenge, someone who once offered unconditional care, and now demands mutual respect. This duality keeps them emotionally engaged, replaying moments, conversations, and shared experiences in their mind. Their thoughts drift endlessly toward you, filled with romantic fantasies, reflections, and imagined reconciliations. At the same time, you are no longer driven by the need to rekindle what once was. You are focused on protecting your peace, honoring your growth, and maintaining the standards you have worked hard to establish. Whether or not you allow them back in will be a conscious choice, not an emotional impulse. That awareness is what shifts the power dynamic entirely. You are no longer trying to prove your worth, you know it. And your partner, seeing this version of you, grounded, confident, self-contained, cannot help but be drawn to you with an intensity that continues to grow.